can't tell you how many times I've seen a new designer do a beautiful design and then botch it on the 1 yard line by not prepping their digital correctly for their print shop. And you know what? Affinity has nice tools for this, and it ain't that hard. You just gotta know where to look and how to get started. Let's figure that out. Don't forget, this video is part of a series for Affinity noobs and those migrating from other software. The other videos have all kinds of Affinity goodness in them, so don't miss them either in the playlist or in the links in the description. And speaking of the rest of the series, we put a lot of effort into this lead letterhead sheet, but wanted to show you the other elements in case you wish to follow through and build the rest of the project yourself. Here's the envelope. Here is one business card design. And I also did a horizontal business card design. This one presents a special little production challenge. If we use Control-Shift-W to turn off the preview mode, we can see that this background color proceeds all the way to the edge of the page, but remember, it can't stop there. It has to go all the way out to the bleed lines. And if that doesn't make sense, go back and check out the document setup video where we talk about document bleed pretty extensively. But once you get all this done, how exactly do you get it to the print shop? Some people call this exporting, some people call it packaging, some people partially correctly call it PDFing. In any case, the important thing is that you hand off your digital assets to your print shop carefully. Most print shops these days would indeed prefer to print from a high-resolution, press-ready PDF file. So let's start there. Let's export a PDF. We'll pop up to the File menu and way down to Export and over to Export. And you can see a big, hairy, two-handed keyboard shortcut there if you want to remember that bad boy. And the Export dialog pops open, and we can see all of these other formats that Affinity is capable of producing. It's quite a list. But it has targeted PDF because that's what we asked for. And we're going to use, in this case, one of the first two for print or press ready. Notice that you have other options down here if you're creating PDFs for, say, an email campaign or something that you're just going to pass along on the internet. So you do have other options in here that matter. But for now, I'm going to stick with press ready, and we'll look at just some of the options over here in the attributes. Not every single one of them, because there are quite a few. I'll get started with rasterize. I'm going to leave this at unsupported properties. This means that anything that Affinity understands and can do, like maybe a drop shadow, that will not be understood by the PDF, it's going to convert to an image. It's going to rasterize that into a bitmap. Definitely a good idea. Moving on down, we can rasterize things at 300 pixels per inch. I personally believe that should say PPI, pixels per inch. DPI actually stands for dots per inch, which is more of a pre-press term that your print shop would use. If you do have images and they are at very high resolution, you can downsample them as you go here. So we're saying, okay, downsample images that would be above 375 PPI. And that's a decent benchmark to work with. You can allow it to use JPEG compression on that image, which should help your file size be quite a bit smaller. You do want to leave the quality set really high. Compatibility, Acrobat 8 is a decent range to work with. If you're not certain, you can always check with your print shop about the preference that they might prefer out of this list here. But I think Acrobat 8 these days is a decent baseline assumption. I would personally leave color space set to CMYK for a print job, even though we set up spot colors in this particular job. And notice down here we've got honor spot colors turned on, which is going to leave our spot colors in the document. That's what we want in this case. We did set up an ICC profile when we were messing with document setup, and it's not going to hurt anything at all to leave that turned on for Use Document Profile. If you do happen to be creating an online document that has hyperlinks in it, then you can toggle those on here. Probably not a bad idea. We don't have any in this document, so it's not going to matter here. Here's another really important one. Include bleed. Absolutely, we want to include bleed. We want to leave that turned on. We set up bleed intentionally so that we had that trim space around the edge of the page. Very important in a print job, so absolutely do want that one turned on. Below it, printer's marks. If we toggle these off, you can see what happens. These are extra marks for your print shop to know where to trim things. These little registration marks, these little bullseye targets, are how it keeps the arrangement, the registration, as printers call it, between the two ink colors correct. It just helps them get everything lined up carefully and correctly. And you can toggle different pieces of this on and off. You can turn the registration marks off. No doubt your print shop will not need color bars for this particular kind of job. And they have software that will take your PDF and prepare it for their press, which can add and remove these things anyway. So again, if you're worried about it, you can talk to your print shop and they can tell you exactly what they prefer here. Some print shops even have little FAQs on their websites about how they want you to set these kinds of things up. Embed fonts, absolutely. We want that font information to go along with the file, built into it, embedded into the PDF. That's good. And finally, you can even turn on encryption if you want to, if you're transmitting national security documents over the open internet. Finally, ask for location, and hitting export just tells the software where we want to save this file. Give it the name you want, put it in the folder that you want, hit save. And here's the file we just created. Here's our first page, and here are the others. Notice that they have all of the print marks that we asked for. They have the project name and all of the high-res information that the print shop's going to need. Notice even that the crop marks on our little bleed brown background here are set correctly. So that's good. We've got a good PDF to hand to the print shop here. Now, in addition to your nice new PDF that you've just created, it's also best practice to include an editable version of your file for your print shop as well, just in case the unthinkable happens. Maybe they want to redo the PDF in some particular way that they prefer, or even worse, maybe there's a typo or something that has to get corrected the last minute before the press deadline. They have an editable version of the file for those reasons. To make it is very simple. We'll pop up to File and go down to Save as Package. And what pops open here is less of a dialog box and more of a simple report. For example, if we look under fonts, we see the typefaces that we used. Don't panic too much. We only see one version of our railway here. We'll see why that is here in a second. It's a little bit cryptic the way Affinity reports it here, but it's not a problem. And if we had any images, we would see them here and their status. Is any image missing, etc. So this is important too if you're working with a file that has images in it. Let's hit OK. And here I'll just hit Package. And don't let this warning be too spooky. It's just telling us that the folder we've chosen to put this package in is not empty, because in this case, I used the same folder that I had the PDF in that we just made. It's telling us no files will be deleted, but existing files may be overwritten. That means if you already had other AF package files in there, that those might get overwritten and updated with the new one that you're about to make. In our case, we haven't even made that file yet, so hitting yes is no problem. And here is what we get. We have our PDF that we created before, but we also have this .af package file, and we also have our fonts files, whatever they were, in a folder called fonts. And here we can see the mystery explained. We were actually using a variable font that has all of the different weights of the typeface in one .ttf file, one TrueType font file. So this is actually to our advantage. It's a good thing. Everything's good to go. Open that AF package file and you can see the print shop is going to have everything it needs to finish your job. And guess what, kids? You're done. You finished the project. Thanks for stopping by. And if you went through the entire series, I hope it was useful. Let me know down in the comments, and please stop back soon because there is so much more to come.